Welcome to the Amplified Podcast Reloaded. Groundwork, Ohio is a committed, nonpartisan public policy, research, and advocacy organization where we focus on the time when children's experiences and environments most influence their health, development, and life trajectory from prenatal to age 5. Our vision: that Ohio is the best place to be a young child, and every child has the opportunity to reach their full potential. This is a special edition of the Amplified Podcast Reloaded, where we recorded during Groundwork Ohio's Momentum Institute. This episode is all about amplifying voices, the leaders, advocates, and changemakers from every corner of Ohio and beyond who are united by one shared mission: ensuring every child from prenatal to age 5 has the opportunity to thrive. You'll hear reflections from partners and advocates who are deeply aligned with our mission and vision, sharing how they're recommitting to this vital work in their communities, their sectors, and in their everyday decisions. Because when we move together with purpose, we build the kind of momentum that changes what's possible for Ohio's youngest children and their families. Each guest were asked 2 questions. What is the most important thing Ohio can do to support the lives of families and young children? And a fill in the blank. I am part of writing the next chapter for Ohio's youngest children, and I will commit to blank. Let's dive in.
What Ohio needs to do is invest more in our youngest children. So whether that is child tax credits, whether that is finding ways to help families offset childcare costs, it has to be a priority. The world is changing and we need to meet the moment.
I think the most important change Ohio can make to support families with young children would be to invest in childcare, quality, affordable childcare for all Ohioans.
At RISE, we've found that basically 4 out of 10 households struggle to afford basic necessities every month. So things like groceries, rent, childcare. So I think the number one thing that we can do as Ohio is make life more affordable and just concretely improve people's lives. So that there's a lot of things, but I think making childcare more affordable is really critical.
I think there's a lot of great things we can do in that area, but I think the most important would be a universal pre-K, giving all of our kiddos a chance to get out and get all the great skills and practice and play and development they need to get ready. And it would also give parents an ability to be working and contributing to their community in other ways as well.
We definitely need to be able to support them with childcare and being able to help them with their costs. Their cost is outrageous in childcare. I have 2 daughters that struggle with childcare, and I help them as much as I can. I hate seeing them struggle, and the parents that we serve with Head Start, it's awful.
Without a doubt, it's childcare and affordability and access. We are, as a state, going through a childcare crisis. There are still counties and cities that are childcare deserts. There are deserts within the cities where families do not have access to quality and affordable childcare. We know that the cost of working has increased for parents, and so many parents are making false choices to either reduce their hours to work or just dropping out of the workforce in the Ohio economy altogether, because childcare now costs more than a mortgage and even rent.
Working families need accessible, affordable, high-quality care, and our state needs to find a way to make that happen for the children and families of our state. They deserve it. We need it. Economy needs it. Our state has really fallen behind when it comes to taking care of the children and families that we need to be supporting. Kids don't have a voice in this work. We need to be their voice. So let's just do what's right for children and families in Ohio.
I think getting the parent or caregiver voice into the conversation and into the room, I think it's very important to have representation of those that you're looking to assist or to make change for. So keeping in mind that it's very important for that family, caregiver, parent voice to truly be in the space in order to implement change.
I think it's important that we make access to quality childcare a priority. So over in Alliance, we've been fortunate. We have some employers who are part of the Alliance Employment Promise. It's been going on now. We're in year 6. And what we've found through the Employment Promise is that 100% of 3 of the 4 piloting businesses actually have, for all of their employees who have participated, they have 100% employee retention over the last 6 years. And then for the 4th business, it's 90% employee retention for those participants. That's huge because what it shows, for those who don't know, the Employment Promise, how it works is the employers pay up to $200 per child per month for their employees' childcare at any of the ECA supported centers. And why is that important? It makes it possible for families, working families, regardless of income, to be able to continue to go to work. Everyone benefits. And so I think it's important that whether it's through funding programs that allow for the subsidy to take place through employers, whether it's finding additional tax credits, whatever the case may be, we have to prioritize making childcare affordable. I myself, part of why I'm so passionate about this field is because I had to use my entire retirement to pay for my children's childcare and education when they were little. And so we don't have the same economy that we used to have as far as families don't always live close together to where relatives can take care of kids. And even if they do, because of the constraints of whether it's the grocery bill or the utility bill or whatever, grandma and grandpa have to work. They have to pay their own bills. So we can't expect for our parents to be able to do what previous generations were able to do, whether it's distance or whether it's bills. That's not our reality anymore. So it truly takes a community to be able to come together, whether it's local community or state community, to make this possible. And I think it's gotten to be such a problem now. Prior to the pandemic, it was a problem, but now it's even more so as our economy continues to just stretch people's budgets. And so it's gotten to the point that we have to find a way to address this as a state.
I think the most important change Ohio could make is getting more of our parents, guardians back in the workforce. There's a huge workforce shortage across Ohio, all across the board, from teachers to engineers, and we have way too many people sitting on the sidelines because of the cost of childcare. So to do what we can to help that and to help decrease the big workforce shortage that we have in Ohio, helps everybody all around the state, from the communities to the tax base and the GDP of Ohio.
I think the most impactful change that Ohio can make is making a strong commitment to Ohio families by having a universal base income to support the needs of all Ohio communities. I think especially in this climate that we're in, we're seeing high increases in food, we're seeing costs go up all across the board, and I think having some type of universal income support would help alleviate a lot of stress for Ohio families, as well as making sure that we have additional funding initiatives to support early literacy initiatives for families, because I think literacy is very important and it helps open up access for people across the board in the state of Ohio.
I think all kids and families should get education.
I think that Ohio can make a commitment to invest in additional childcare. I lead a program with a lot of young parents in it, and this is their number one issue. And they are always talking about how they struggle to find reliable, affordable childcare, and they're always struggling to make ends meet and then also work at the same time, because they're always worrying about where and how they will find childcare.
The major thing is to recognize that this is not just a family issue. This is an economic issue. If we really want people to have children, we really need to support them. We need to support them with tax credits. We need to support them with quality child care facilities, and recognize that children, they are not our future, they're our now.
I think the most important thing policy-wise that we can do is really to help families with the affordability part of childcare. We know that this prevents people from joining the workforce. We know that the failure of the child care tax credit in the last budget bill was a serious defeat in this way. We know that working families need access to child care, they need affordable child care, and they need quality child care. Child care that's going to give them the peace of mind to know that when I'm at my place of work, that my child is not just being cared for, but is learning and being nurtured and is in the best possible environment for their future.
I think that Ohio really needs to invest in the full continuum of care for Ohio's young children and their families. So that means investing in early childhood education, investing in the health of mothers and babies, and then also carrying that through as they get older, through school, through K through 12, to make sure that all of our kids are healthy and ready to learn. It is that continued investment in a child from when they are born, before they are born even, all the way through graduation from high school, to make sure that they're healthy and ready to learn.
I believe that the best thing that Ohio can do to support working families and our youngest children, our youngest learners, is to help fund the initiatives that will help these families get better childcare, get childcare in the first place, and to be able to return to work.
Continuing to advocate for families and children.
I will commit to supporting families of young children and helping give them the tools that they need to advocate for their children and for their families and be contributing members to our community.
To doing everything that I can to support our Ohio children's needs.
So I am part of writing the next chapter for Ohio's kids, and I will commit to fighting for economic security and dignity for all children.
Being the best role model for a single father.
I will commit to lifting parent voice up.
Advocating for families.
Being a part of the conversation as well as a part of the action for change.
I will commit to being present.
I will commit to being a strong advocate.
Using my voice to do everything I can to advocate for those who aren't able to use their own voices. Our kids, they can't speak up for themselves. And so that's why it's our responsibility to be able to do everything in our power to be the responsible adult and do everything we can to give them the best future. And we know that 90% of the brain develops by age 5, and these are critical years. And so a lot of times people will vote thinking about what particularly pertains to them, but what they don't realize is that our children, even though it might not be our own child, what we invest in the children of our communities is what we're investing in our community for years to come. And so I will commit to using my voice to do everything possible that I can to advocate for our children who can't advocate for themselves.
I'll commit to advocating for additional investment in affordable, reliable childcare.
I will commit to continue to advocate for our children, continue to listen to what our parents and our children need, and to continue to educate.
Supporting the professionals and providers to provide the best possible service to our children and families.
Always advocating for our kids and making sure that they have the health services that they need to achieve their full potential.
I will commit to continuing the fight for our families with young children, and for the providers who provide the care for our young children, and to make our community a better place, because if we don't have quality childcare and enough childcare, then families don't get to work, and then our economy suffers, our community suffers. So I will commit to continuing that fight.
I will commit to advocating on behalf of Ohio's youngest generation and always fighting for their best interests.
Thank you to all of our partners and attendees for sharing their voices and perspectives during the Momentum Institute. Please remember, if you care for or love a young child in Ohio, you are an expert and your voice matters. Amplify your voice by sharing your own story, supporting others in sharing their stories, and advocate for changes that will support families and young children in your communities. Please also remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the Amplified Podcast Reloaded on the Groundwork Ohio YouTube channel. If you wish to engage with Groundwork Ohio to amplify your voice and support policies to improve the lives of Ohio's youngest children, please visit www.groundworkohio.org. Until next time.